G'day everyone, nomadic prospecting. Today I'm at Diggers Rest Station. We're just going to do a little tour, a few little sites down here, and then we'll end up at the pub, the old Diggers Rest pub. Alright, so here we have a Caroline Chisholm memorial. Diggers Rest was the first overnight stop after leaving Melbourne. It was exactly 1 day's walk from Melbourne to Diggers Rest. Alright, so here on the outside we have some Houdini stuff. Only a very brief time in Diggers Rest, out near Plumpton. But he is part of the history. Oh, this is the Caroline Chisholm shelter shed. So this account here is actually by Thomas Gregory, and Thomas once owned the pub that we're going to see shortly. Nice little map there, Cobb Co map from Melbourne to Bendigo, Forest Creek, and all the stops along the way. Alright, we head over here. Now this is the monument for Houdini. Not the actual propeller, but quite cool. So Houdini was in the air for 3.5 minutes. And he got to an altitude of about 100 feet. The first flight, manned flight in the country of Australia. Alright, it's enough of Houdini. This is more important. In memory of J.A. Sanger, Woodstock, USA, who died 12th of May 1855, aged 24. Now the story of Sanger is he left the US for Australia, arrived in Melbourne, and then started the trek to Bendigo, goldfields. On the way, one night he was camping with a mate just down here where we're going to go shortly, and their dray tipped back onto Sanger, and he actually died. So there was a few deaths along this area, along this part of the route to the goldfields. At that time it was pretty rough going. This here is the Caroline Chisholm gold shelter. And also registered state school 2479. Well, that's about it for this area right here. But we're going to head down, get the detector out, and have a good look at the pub. It's the Diggers Rest pub. Now this pub was first built in 1852 by the Gregory brothers, and at that stage it was just a sly grog shop, shanty sort of thing along the Goldfields track towards Mount Alexander. In 1854, another man came along and did most of the bluestone work that you see here. After that period, it sort of was quiet for 50, 75 odd years, and then they started using it again. And then in 2008, it was pretty much fully gutted by a big fire. As you can see there, you can see how hot the fire was. So since then, it's pretty much sat as is until recently it's been cleaned up. And they've got plans to use it in the future. It's going to be a restaurant and a driving range and a few other things they've planned for. Now this site is significant because it was the first stop from Melbourne CBD. I'll just show you some of the stonework close up. That's all by William Speary, the ex-convict. He probably had gold fever like the rest of the men and women and horses that were coming past this pub. But all the bluestone is sourced locally. Now back in the day, they actually used cellars as makeshift mortuaries. So there's a good chance that once Jay Sanger had passed, they would have held him in this room for a while. Alright, we've got some gear. We're going to head out this direction. Out that way. See if we can find anything. First target. I'm not even going to continue to dig. Could be part of a cart. It's just a bit of steel. I've got another signal here. Half a shoe. That was fairly deep though. That would have come off a Cobb Co horse from the gold rush.